are going to be watching the deadliest amusement park rides ever. Also, you might be wondering, Barry, do you look a little weird and maybe a little contrary? Yes, it's because I got new tracking and now I can do this. So now we can stand up. Let's check it out. And because you were so kind in the comments section, I spilled my drink. Let's check it out.
Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? How you doing? Come on in and sit on down. Today we're talking about amusement parks because spring's right around the corner and it's the perfect time for amusement parks to open back up. The weather's going to be really nice. You get to go on all your favorite rides.
Velocicoaster! Dude, I am addicted to going to Universal. I love Universal so much and I've been to a lot of amusement parks. The only park I don't really like is Disney World because I feel like Disney World is just like stinky. Everybody hitting you with like a bunch of like strollers all the time. Not good.
The thing about amusement parks is that death lurks around every corner, which is why I have my document.
Your what?
God damn it! I forgot my document.
Oh, I'm so weeb-filled. I thought he was talking about his docky, like the pillow with the anime women on it.
Okay. 1 second.
My bad. Oh, wait, where are we? This
Winslow,
is
wake up.
nice.
Winslow. Come on, buddy, wake up.
What is that? Wait, he kind of reminds me of Crashbox. I used to love Crashbox when I was a kid, which is why I also kind of like Jeopardy now.
Winslow, buddy, you're having a nightmare. Hey.
Oh, Hunter! Oh, thank God! Oh, you saved me. I was having the worst nightmare.
Wait, does he use Winslow or Linux?
Okay.
It was awful.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. So, I'm actually doing a video right now on an amusement park video idea, and you still haven't sent me the information on it. They're waiting for me, so.
I'm sorry.
He's kind of cute.
I didn't know what day it was.
Oh my God, wait, that's a belly button on his PC tower. I thought that was a butthole.
We could film it down here if you want.
No, I don't. I'm recording it upstairs on my other computer in my room, so.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll just email it to you.
Here, do you need help? You want me to?
What is that next to it? Not the Gamer Subs Cup. The Shrek Ding Dong? What is that?
Hit your keys or anything? Here, let me type it out.
No, stop,
So
no,
if I could try to...
stop.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's a Bad Dragon collab he did? No way. Dude. Inappropriate conversation, so skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. There have been a lot of companies in my DMs that want to make a tentacle object in a collab, and I always say no.
Okay.
I always say no.
I don't need you to touch me.
Oh.
I hate when you shake like that.
Oh. I sent you the email, so get out of here.
All right, thanks, Winslow.
Return to sender.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
Return it.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
No
So,
problem.
From 1990 to 2004, there was an average of 3.7 amusement park deaths annually. How do you get the decimal point there?
It's an
Wow.
average.
It's an average? It's not about little people. Little people are people, but...
He wrong for that. There was actually a death recently at the new Universal Park, and my dad came to visit, and he wanted to go ride the roller coaster, but the day he got here, somebody died on the ride, and then they closed it down. He was really sad.
Or have lost limbs. This is down from 4.5 previously, and may have a lot to do with the fact that more stringent laws were put into place. Things were a lot dicey back in the day, and all of us millennial babies and on have actually had a relatively safe amusement park experience.
Yeah.
At least so we thought.
I don't know, like, okay, there's Action Park. That definitely was pretty bad. There was also, there was another ride that I went to go ride with my dad. It was called like the Iron Rattler or something like that. I think it's at Six Flags, but let's be honest. Six Flags has no rules. Like, people be eating chicken tenders on the rides and shit. But there was a ride where somebody had died, and the line was really short because they reopened it like pretty quick. And me and my dad were sitting in line, and we kept getting on the ride over and over again. And he goes, "Yeah, aren't the lines great? It's because somebody died last week." Well, now I don't want to go on the ride anymore.
Despite these deaths occurring in the same place, the deaths are usually related to guests refusing to follow safety protocols, but even still, measures have to be put in place to prevent guests from breaking safety procedures. We're talking about basic fencing, guardrails, time gates, belt buckles, all this kind of stuff really wasn't around totally, which I think we overlooked today. It's an annoyance. It's a thing that stops us from having fun.
True.
Our monkey brains need to just calm down because we are in peril at all times. Follow the rules is what they say. Oftentimes, it's a guest health issue that causes the problem, as roller coasters are known to cause blood pressure to spike, which can injure or weaken already stressed arteries and valves, resulting in aneurysms, heart attacks, and bleeds.
I think that's what happened with the ride that I was telling you guys about at Epic Universe. I think the guy wasn't doing very well health-wise, and he had ridden the ride like 20 times in a row. And something really bad happened.
AKA, my fat ass is going up on a roller coaster. I might not be coming back down. Gross negligence on the park's behalf can account for many injuries, whether from fault in structure, design, maintenance, or even operator error. Sometimes, even nature gets in the way. It's a slip.
The dinosaurs be like, Eladar, run! Wait, I can run now.
Slippery slope in these big amusement parks meant to be fun with machines that propel you at speeds that you would have never gone before. At times, there's going to be human error, but sometimes I think God looks down even and he says, no. You come back to me. And according to the National Safety Council, more than 1,400 ride-related injuries occur every year. And according to the Global Association for Attractions Industry, the IAAPA, 53% of all injuries occur on family/adult rides, while roller coasters only account for 36%, while the rest...
Oh, wait, what would be like a family ride, though? Like the swings? I always felt like the swings had an evil energy, and so did, like drop towers. I hate drop towers. I will ride any roller coaster, but I will never ride a drop tower. Those things scare the crap out of me.
Are children rides. I think that a lot of these places like Disney, they're meant for children, but they're coming for children. The death is coming for those that are young. With the economy failing and parks having to refinance everything, amusement parks are cutting corners left and right to get people in without having to do all the maintenance and stuff. Yeah, they might throw a little paint on something to make it look new, but goddamn if that thing isn't holding on for dear life. And the end result is always whether or not your safety is profitable.
It's always like that, man. Like, we just watched that escalator video where the problem was that they were just not doing maintenance. It always comes back to maintenance. Just make the ride safe. Why is it always about the dollar bill?
It's one of the more recent events from the Orlando Freefall Drop Tower.
Oh my God! I actually have a funny story about this. I didn't do it.
Which is the world's tallest freestanding drop tower, standing at 400 feet tall. The 14...
Dude, I came to visit Orlando, and I was in an Uber, and the guy driving the Uber was like, "Hey, you hear about that kid who fell out the drop tower and smashed his head all over the wall and all over the pavement?" I went, "Can you just take me to Universal?" He was like super graphic. Yeah, I was like, you're telling me that taking me to the park, man. Thanks.
15-year-old boy fell from the ride after not having his harness properly secured, and bystanders recorded the incident. The weight limit was 287 pounds, and the child was 6 foot and weighed 383 pounds. The ride operator had only been working for 3 days at the time of the incident, and the forensic analysis teams investigated the ride and found out that someone had tampered with the harness, and thus the safety sensors did not trigger a warning.
Yep, it was a kid. And then also, that same Uber driver in the car was like, "Hey, did you know that there's a guy who's driving around right now, but his car is running on water instead of gasoline, and everybody assassinated him?" I was like, "You are the craziest Uber driver I have ever had. Holy conversation starters with this dude."
I'm a big old boy. Going into this video, I feel personally connected to every morbidly obese child and man or woman out there because my fat ass trying to get onto Disney rides was difficult. If you're a big old boy and you got some cake, rides aren't worth it. You know what you should have done?
Happens to me too. My ass too fat. You know how it is. Sometimes us ladies are born with a Mewtwo build. Ain't nothing you can do.
Eat a churro. Disney churro's pretty good. Or you can go to the Disney Star Wars experience.
Dude, this is just turning into Lord Drop the video. I went to this same trip, by the way. And it got shut down in this room, and I was sitting in this room for 2 hours doing jack shit. Like, I was just staring at them. Like, I have seen every single Stormtrooper's crotch. I looked at them all.
Where you can be really fat and no one cares because you're just walking around a little bit. Or the seats are like that of like a buffet bench. So it's perfect for me. But my fat ass trying to squeeze onto Space Mountain? Are you kidding me? With these big old, like for people that were built in the 1960s? Are you kidding me? Yeah, right.
I like Space
to
Mountain.
that 14-year-old 6-foot monster of a man, that absolute unit. Godspeed, kid. Godspeed. Without further ado, we're going to get into some of the nation's funnest rides that kill people. So let's get into it. First off, we have Ride of Steel in Darien, New York.
Oh my god, my dad lost his wallet on a Superman ride. I'm starting to realize I might be a theme park enthusiastic person. What's the word? Aficionado. My dad hates the stupid Six Flags ride with Superman because he lost his wallet and he was so mad. Yeah, I've been to like a lot of theme parks. I just really like roller coasters. I think they're fun.
Six Flags. I can't remember the last time I went to a Six Flags. I'll tell you, the only thing we had in Kansas City was Worlds of Fun. Not on this list, but there is another little Kansas attraction here. That was horrible. It actually really tore the community up. But we're going to be talking about it here in a bit. Anyways, Ride of Steel in Darien, New York, Six Flags. In 2011, a 29-year-old Army veteran was violently launched out of the ride after he raised his arms to try to hold on to his loose hat. Be really funny if his hat said no fat chicks.
Okay, he's wrong for that.
No! He was a double amputee and was riding in the front row of the roller coaster. What? What? I thought that if you didn't have legs, you could. There's no way.
That they eventually said, no, we probably shouldn't have done that.
There's
It was Six Flags.
He fell 150 feet, resulting in his death. Because of his lack of legs, it was determined later that he should not have been allowed on the ride since there wasn't anything to secure the lap belt per the safety regulations. I'm laughing and I'm smiling, but it's not because of the no legs thing. I just am a horrible person, and I'm very sorry. The ride was shut down for 2 weeks following the incident. This is not the first time. A lot of these rides that you probably have been on in your life,
killed
someone
somebody.
has probably died on it.
Yeah.
Like at some given point. Maybe
That's what I told you. You got to go right after the death because you don't got to get a fast pass.
someone didn't fling out because they had no legs and they were shot into the air like a goddamn rock from a slingshot. I mean, people have died on a lot of rides and they just shut it down for like a week or two and they're like, okay. Or they'll paint it and rename it or something.
Yeah, that too.
It's unbelievable. And the weird thing about that too is like, it's the uncanny thing of like, if you were buying a house and you knew that someone died on it.
Wait, that's where my pizza is supposed to go.
Would you want to buy the house?
How cheap is it?
What kind of person are you? Next up is Disneyland. As a big, thick bitch, I have a lot of complaints about Disneyland, and especially the ride that we're talking about now, the Matterhorn.
I've never ridden this. I heard it's not very fun. That might not be true. I've only been to this park one time.
I rode the Matterhorn 30 or 45 minutes before the park was getting ready to close, and that ended my night. After I went on the Matterhorn, I was done. So Disney, which is supposed to be the happiest place on earth, would you be surprised if since it's been open, 26 people have died there?
26? Dude, and you know some Disney adults would be happy if that's the way they went.
Which honestly I thought was going to be much more. Really the numbers for how long they've been open, that's probably not that bad of a rate of people and the amount of people that come in, but still 26 people died in there. Come on, Mickey. Come on, let's half that up. 13. Nice to help me 13. And in
let's up those
1984,
numbers.
a 48-year-old woman was tossed from her bobsled car and was hit by another bobsled car on a track immediately.
That is brutal. Oh my God. And then everybody in the other bobsled car was on like a crazy splash zone. No.
Decapitating her. If you're ever on Matterhorn,
That happened at Schlitterbahn, by the way.
I mean, it feels like a fight to survive anyways. And for a woman to be flung once more at this rapid speed and have her head immediately cut off, I wish I would have died a different way. If I was gonna die on the Matterhorn, I feel like, I don't know which way it is. Maybe the giant Yeti animatronic falls on you.
That guy scared me.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna say, what if it ripped you out of the seat and threw you?
Is it a real Sasquatch? Okay, I'm trying to think that it's a robot, Nick. And upon investigation, it was determined that her seatbelt was not properly fastened, whether it came loose during the ride or if the passenger willingly unbuckled it on its own. And I went, I'm pretty sure my seatbelt was not totally fastened, but I think I was so suctioned in from being so fat, nothing.
Okay, it's kind of sad because these rides can kill people, but like a lot of the time they're like manned, or like the person running the ride is like a teenager and they're just kind of there for like their summer job. Like that's a big expectation to put on somebody who's just like there to make a couple bucks.
Could have got me out of that. Remember me even trying to get out of it? Took for a long time. Next up, Action Park, New Jersey, which everybody's heard of. There was a Johnny Knoxville movie that was made. It's one of those things that's like from the 70s and 80s where people didn't give it safety regulations and they had a lot of stuff. But we're just gonna.
That was also the park that had like the loop-de-loop and pool ride, right? Like it was like a water slide that went in a circle and then launched you out.
Gonna hone in on one. In 1982, a man got caught on the kayak experience ride, promising a simulation of what it's like to go river rafting. At one point during the ride, his kayak tipped over,
and when he got in the water
to tip it back over, he stepped on a metal grate that was too close to live wiring that powered the underwater fans, causing the waves. He was
We have live wiring at a water park. Whose idea was that, Mr. Electric Eel?
electrocuted and went into cardiac arrest, dying shortly after. The park claimed the man wasn't electrocuted because he didn't suffer any
No, that was not Hassan's idea. You wrong for that.
burns, even though the coroner claimed underwater electrocutions rarely cause burns. This begs the question because so far we've just talked about people being flung from a ride due to no legs or no seatbelt. So let me ask you this so far. Would you have rather been electrocuted or would you have rather been flung from a deal?
Am I instantly killed from the electrocution?
I would say no, but just to make it fair, as in the idea that you're being flung. So like you have to at least have that mental thing of like, oh my God.
No, I feel like this. I already know I'm done. I saw my butt. I looked up and I saw my butt.
Right? And then you hit the ground. So you would think that you would at least have to kind of be like, "Ah!" for like a second, and then you die. You would die about the same equal time, 4 seconds. Hey, leave a comment down below, smash that like button, and ring the bell. Be sure to subscribe. And also, would you rather be electrocuted from a live wire under a water ride, or would you rather be flung from a roller coaster?
Let me know in the comment section down below because he already did the work and now I'm just copying his ass. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you.
Let me know down below. What would you do?
I think to be dramatic, I'd be flung.
You kind of know what it feels like to fly for a little bit. Next up is Hagrid's Magical Creature.
This ride is awesome, by the way. I didn't know somebody died it on, and I mean, the line's still like an hour and a half.
Motorbike Adventure in Universal Orlando.
This ride's great.
Off, redo the fucking name. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Why not just Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure? Why magical creatures? We get it. We're in.
Well, I want it to be magical and awesome and amazing, and I'm drinking my butterbeer front row, splashing everybody behind me.
Harry Potter world. And this happened in 2019, and the cause of death results from bees.
Oh, no, it's always the bees! And these are D's, so don't even think about it.
For over a month from September into October, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure was plagued by a nest of honeybees. Since in Florida, honeybees are an endangered species, they could do little to remove it.
Oh, wait, that kind of sucks. And like everybody's drinking like butterbeer over there, so it's like super sticky and sweet, and they probably just be spawn camping that.
Despite paying to have them removed, the bees continued to return. The ride had to be closed for several days, and despite relocating, had to be closed again.
I don't think anyone dies here.
What? Okay, what part of my research here, which I'm going to slap.
What is it called if you have bee anaphylactic shock? You could be allergic.
Slap the out of my computer, Winslow, because no one dies here. Winslow, nobody died. People just got stung. Well, what if somebody was allergic and they got stung?
That's
That'd
what I said.
report, though.
Yes.
You were hoping for that.
Nah. Why were we hoping for death?
Anaphylactic shock. And lived,
Anaphylactic. I was right.
You're a horrible, horrible man.
Guys, this is kind of disgusting, but earlier, for the first time in my life, I saw two bees getting it on, and apparently they do it in the air, like ride or die, basically. Then what happens is once the male bee ends up, like, he falls off to the ground and he's dead.
Next up, Holiday Land in Santa Claus, Indiana. Which, what a terrible name, dude. Every month that it is in December, you must, what a f***ing embarrassing name. What's the local team? Are they the Santa Claus? The Jolly Red Men?
The Rangers.
Are they actually the Rangers? Probably, you're probably right. In Holiday Land, we're talking about the ride, The Raven, which is an enormous swaying wooden roller coaster. The Raven was designed by Custom Coasters International and
Okay, I don't know if I should trust somebody with like a word art logo if they're building a roller coaster.
I mean, sure, they're probably good, but the logo does not actually make me feel like they're gonna do a great job.
1995, and the company, as is, no longer exists as of 2002. That feels suspicious. If this thing happened in 2003 and the company went out of business in 2002, what did they do to this ride to cause this event? A year before the incident, voted #1 roller coaster in 2001, its path was designed to mimic the flight pattern of a raven, and it's themed around Edgar Allan Poe's poem. Which everyone's heard the stupid ass fucking poem, Quaff the Raven.
Nevermore.
The first death on the ride, a guy named Tamar, was sitting in the last car on the coaster and was
First death? This roller coaster got a stat track?
seen standing as the ride progressed. The Raven, as it is a wooden constructed coaster with nails sticking out of every which way and sagging boards as far as the eye can see. When the car returned, Tamar, the victim, was no longer in her seat and the seatbelt had been unbuckled. This ride has no loops or extreme curves. It does, however, feature an 80-foot drop that gives the sensation of being likely to be thrown from the train. According to her fiance, something was very wrong with the ride and she panicked. Why would you panic? So your first thing to do is while the ride is going, you unbuckle the seatbelt. I'm free! At the fifth and final drop, she was thrown from her seat. Spokespersons for the park cited that the ride was functioning as intended. And the Indiana Fire Marshal declared there to be nothing wrong with the ride, mechanical or otherwise. All restraints were functioning properly. Well, I mean, come on, yeah, no shit. You like freaked out and took, I mean, listen, I have panic attacks too where I'm like, and I get up and I have to go, but I would feel like at that point, you close your eyes and you just breathe, you do like the...
Yeah. Is this roller coaster tycoon?
I was sending mother suckers flying in this shit.
Because, I mean, how long would the ride be? A minute? I mean, 2 minutes max? 2 minutes max?
That's way bigger than average.
2 minutes is a very appropriate amount of time, man. Let's not downplay that.
People panic, dude.
I fucking panic too. I'm sympathetic, but at the same time, just like, really, dude? Especially you've gone through 4 drops and you can't just do the last one. In 2005, the family sued the park and the manufacturer of the train of the coast.
Wait, where do you get
Do the
those?
last one. In 2005, the family sued the...
Do you think I could buy one of these life pegs? Like, I kind of want to do a self-defense class now that I can move around on stream. I think that'd be really fun. And maybe get like a steel chair and beat the crap out of one of these things. I kind of want one.
Park and the manufacturer of the train of the coaster, the actual train carts. They settled for an undisclosed amount out of court. Conversations with workers and interviews with...
I'll tell them I know they covered up a felony with what happened at HW. I have proof. Yep. Bro did not care. I'll tell them I have a pic of an ACE member using what looked like a lanyard to hold a lap bar up. Then they're going to reply, crazy.
With Ecotaste, the executive committee of the American Coaster Enthusiasts. Who the
That's me!
actually made that?
Nah, don't do me like this, man. Don't do me like this.
Coaster enthusiast, man.
What I'm saying is, like, it's not even a business. It's just them being like, oh, I love coasters. Love them. I love coasters.
Okay.
One thing I do like about coasters is like fun engineering. Does that make sense? Like, this kind of nerdy, but like, at least they're not like making bombs. Like, they're like making fun stuff.
Well, they say that the lap bar...
But Will should have spoken up when he saw it. I don't know for sure if he is the one who started it to begin with, but I know I saw him doing it, and I saw him tell Will about it on Raven. I was there. Source, me.
had been broken for some time and was being rigged together with an old lanyard.
He was in the station when they were holding up the lap bars with lanyards. He should have ordered the ride shut down, and he allowed it. I think it was one of my friends who started doing it, but if he didn't stop, it's...
Despite the public claim that Tamar had been standing up, the official announcement was that Tamar had done nothing to risk her life, but later on, the statement changed, accusing her of being careless. Tamar, who weighed under 100 pounds at the time, may have been too small for the bar to work effectively. A couple things after that. That's very sad. Gained some weight.
No, she died and you're saying eat a cheeseburger?
Oh, hell nah. At least say Patty Mel. I love the Whataburger Patty Mel.
Only let the fatties go on the roller coasters, is what I gotta say. Who's at fault here?
I think Tamar.
You think Tamar had a panic attack? I think the fucking Raven didn't do its job, dude. Especially it was held with a lanyard. What the f?
Yeah.
Anyways, Voyage Coasters, June of 2003. The Voyage, a metal structured coaster with wooden tracks.
Wait. Tell me how realistic this looks.
June of 2003. The Voyage, a metal structured coaster with wooden tracks.
A little to the left. Oh, my bad.
2013 top wooden roller coaster in the nation. Oh, it's a wooden roller coaster. There's one in Kansas City at Worlds of Fun called the Timberwolf. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Dude, anytime I ride a wooden roller coaster,
Whiplash. I mean, I think that people have gotten legitimate whiplash on that ride.
Oh yeah, she's rough.
It's a 1.2 mile long track with 90-degree
wanna hear
banking and
that?
hard turns with over 24 seconds total of weightless fall time. It opened in 2006, developed by the Gravity Group. God, get over yourself. The
Subway
fucking
logo.
roller coaster company. What do you want to call it? The Gravity Group. The remaining front of the custom coasters that designed the Raven, themed after the Mayflower. As the structure began to sag and the ride became too rough for most passengers. So,
I feel like they redo it sometimes, right? Like there's a lot of rides I've seen where they like go and they like redo the track. And I think they do that for like indoor coasters too. And I think they did that for the Mummy.
they got new train cars to soften the experience. This resulted in the cars being traded between coasters and cars tested, but eventually never kept. And in June of 2021, a passenger was found unconscious after the ride. Coroner declares that cause of death to be internal bleeding from tear in the thoracic artery. Dawn, who was from Ohio, was perfectly fine when she mounted the ride. Extreme drops and jarring banks of the ride were said to have caused the tear in artery and resulting to the drops to allow her to bleed internally. Holy yeah, just like going left and right and all of a sudden you tear a literal artery in your body just from violent movements. As with the Rava event, all inspections performed and no safety violations or flaws in the procedure or structure were found. I just don't believe it. If they're comparing it to the Raven, where the f*** is Ecotace?
They found no foul play.
They found
We say Ecotase.
no foul play. I think Big Coasters is keeping us out, dude. I want to talk to the guy who drinks his whiskey glass in the towers of these amusement parks, and he devises these plans to shut the families up. Next up, we have the one that, oh baby, this is in my neck of the woods. Schlitterbahn.
Yes! I said this earlier! They get to...
Wait, that sounded a little too excited. But I was talking about Schlitterbahn. I love Schlitterbahn.
In Kansas City, Kansas. And this was on a thing called the Verrucht Water Slide.
Dude, after they got... I remember if you wanted to get on the ride, they publicly shamed you by making you stand on a scale in front of everybody, and they told you if you were too fat to ride.
Let me tell you something. This is just me talking to you because I know this one very personally. The only other water park we had in Kansas City was connected to Worlds of Fun, the amusement park I said, and it was called Oceans of Fun. This is a legitimate memory I have. You have like one of the lazy rivers of all time.
I love lazy rivers. I don't know if this is a woman thing, but this bitch loves a lazy river. I'll sit there all day. I do not care.
And everybody likes a nice lazy river. I was swimming through there. I got a Band-Aid stuck in my mouth like this. And a legitimate Dippin' Dots cart fell into the lazy river, and they took it out and they just dried off the packaging and still sold the Dippin' Dots.
Dude, I never see Dippin' Dots anymore. I feel like they're region locked to like a water park.
Saw that with my eyes. And I remember I legitimately had to get an AIDS test because of the Band-Aid. That's not even joking, because there was blood on the Band-Aids.
Did the water park financially aid you in that?
I didn't have AIDS. I don't have AIDS.
Yay!
I don't have HIV.
Are you positive?
I'm saying it like I do, and I don't have it. Schlitterbahn, when it opened up, it was supposed to be this big thing because it was new. You know, everyone's like, fuck Oceans of Fun. We're going to Schlitterbahn! But It all came crashing down with the Verrückt water slide.
Yeah.
And the water slide, the Verrückt, which is German for insane, it was the world's tallest water slide in 2014. The 168-foot structure meant to open in 2013.
I could even call my dad. Oh, wait, I can't because I have my phone up there, but he'll remember this one. My dad knows about this a lot. He always yapped about it.
It didn't open until the next year due to the rafts becoming airborne. Tests with sandbags resulted in flying inflatable rafts loaded with sand hitting speeds of 70 miles per hour. And I don't know if I can find footage of this, but they showed that on the news. And let me tell you, people were like, maybe ocean's fun isn't that bad. In the grand scheme of it all, I wouldn't mind just going hitting the wave.
Yeah, a lot of people probably went to Wet n Wild after this.
Pool at Oceans of Fun. It was horrifying. When they say it became airbound, that they were flying. Big sandbags. I remember there was even dummies at one point flying through the air at 70 miles an hour. Okay,
Damn.
It was open with the addition of netting stretched over an arc of metal bands made along the.
One second.
It was open.
I'm not sure if I want to ride a ride where the designer looks concerned.
With the addition of netting stretched over an arc of.
We shouldn't open this. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure, though.
Metal bands made along the areas where riders were most likely to become airborne. So this is what they decided to do. So because people at a certain point kept going airborne on the slide, they covered the entire thing
in mesh.
in a metal mesh. So then it's like, okay, well they'll just hit the metal.
Horrible idea.
They'll go back down the slide.
Idea.
That was a legitimate thing that happened. Before we get into the death here, this was never open publicly, I don't think, because if I remember correctly, this guy, when this happened it was like they were getting ready to open, and this was all the special people in Kansas City got to come and test out the park or go there early, like investors and all that stuff. In 2016, the tragic death of a 10-year-old named Caleb, which he was the son of a Kansas legislator, shut the ride down for good.
Yeah.
Caleb, riding at the front of the raft with 3 passengers, became airborne at one of the dangerous drops. Hitting the safety net was reported to have done great damage to his neck. It was later revealed that the impact was so severe that he was decapitated. Once again, that became something too. And that was something.
I don't know why, but I think I remember that there was somebody riding the ride with him. I might have made that up. That might be fiction.
Insane. I used to know a girl when I was in high school working and stuff, and she said that she was one of the people that saw that.
Oh, she saw it?
She saw it in person. She was one of the people, like, his head rolled down the slide.
Yeah.
And it was, like, in the pool of bloody water, and she was, like, around the area. I don't know if she was in the water. I don't want to go out that far. This is also all speculation from almost 10 years ago, so give my memory some rest here. It was later revealed that the ride had not been adequately designed or inspected. There were no restraints other than some Velcro or no curve to the half pipe that would have prevented
Should have used duct tape, maybe some WD-40.
into the ride from going airborne. At the height and speed of the ride, it was recommended that a shoulder restraint be installed. A shoulder restraint. I'm guessing that. Does that mean tuck it in? Oh, you mean like go like that?
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's a claustrophobic nightmare. It is. That's like some Hellraiser. You're stuck in a tube and there's like metal netting. Your soul, you're going to die.
This ride will be your last. Splish splash.
Just like flying down this deal. Later on, due to this extreme negligence, the owner and operator of the park were separately indicted and charged with involuntary manslaughter, aggravated battery.
Dude, guy in the middle does not give a fuck. And the guy on the right looks like maybe he was using like the Super Mario 64. I think that was the root. My bad. I'm done.
Aggravated child endangerment and negligence and interference with law enforcement. I don't think the Kansas legislator was too happy about that, I'm going to guess. The ride was demolished and the laws in place that allowed for theme parks to self-regulate and self-inspect was repealed and replaced with new legislator with more strict rules. During the investigation, it was eventually discovered that Caleb and his passengers were not the only ones hurt. Over 13 others over the course of the ride's lifetime were hurt and never appropriately documented. And the 2 designers of the ride were indicted on charges that they were not qualified, nor did they follow any protocols in designing and testing the ride. They also performed no basic safety inspection to any quality and attempted to hide evidence from investigators.
Awesome,
I think to recoup
man.
some of the losses, they had like conventions or something in the parking lot. It was just weird, especially because the slide was so big and you're just like, oh, he got his head cut off on that. And now, especially, I'm finding out that.
Oh no, now you guys can see if I have to move my booster seat. Don't look at that.
13 other people were hurt. But anyways, to keep it up, Terminal Velocity, Extreme World, Wisconsin. That's a fucking sick amusement park name. Extreme World? Oh,
Yeah!
dude. I would be busting out my fucking britches trying to go to Extreme World every weekend. In 2010, it was a free fall experience offering a 50-mile-per-hour, 100-foot free fall drop.
What, into a giant condom? Do they flip it inside out? They use it again?
Free fall. A 12-year-old died after a ride operator did not engage safety net before dropping a girl. Riders are treated to a free fall experience by hoisting them 140 feet in the air via a harness. The rider is released from their cable and allowed to fall into a safety net 40 feet off the ground, reaching speeds of 50 miles per hour.
I would never do that. I don't know. This kind of stuff, I hate it. It's not even fun to me. It's like torture.
Ride operator was distracted and did not raise the safety net and stopped the ride too soon. Pulled the lever without looking, only to realize his mistake and try to lift the net. Parents were filming as she fell and hit the ground, and she was taken to the hospital. She had 10 fractures in the spine and pelvis, another in the skull, brain swelling. Liver, spleen, and intestines were lacerated. Heart stopped multiple times and was revived via CPR. She was near paralyzed and only able to communicate by blinking. She was hospitalized for months but survived and eventually regained ability to walk. No fail-safe mechanism to prevent this injury. Ride operator was determined to be at fault for not paying attention and pled second-degree bodily injury. Park management circumvented police order to preserve the scene for an investigation but did not adhere to this and were caught working on the ride to hide evidence. The ride itself was extremely...
Ew, come on. Why are you doing that, man? Scummy.
Extremely rusted, and the family sued and won for $3.5 million. This is a little...
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, only 3.5? Like, that is like a crazy thing to happen. Like, I expected more than 3.5. Yeah, that's not enough.
Went through it, dude. At the same time, I would want more than 3.5 million, if I'm being honest. Just, why not a crisp 10? A crisp 10 for that deal. Especially 10 fractures in spine and pelvis. That just seems like it should be 10 million.
Yeah.
$1 million for each fracture. Why not? You know,
and the medical bills. Like, you still gotta pay for that. That's expensive.
that guy was definitely trying to, like, he was flirting with some bitch or something like that. He's like, yeah, I mean, I get off an 8, Rebecca. Rebecca, are you coming over or not? I'm getting panicked.
Rebecca, you can come with me. Come on, let's get out of here.
Express on the way home. Are you coming? Oh, the net! And then it just happened. We have Paramount's Great America Amusement Park in Santa Clara. In 1999, Labor Day accident involving a trespasser who, avoiding all signs placed every 50 feet, jumped 2 fences in order to crawl underneath a low-passing roller coaster to retrieve his wife's beloved baseball cap.
Oh my God.
What was the team? Renato, a 25-year-old...
One time I had a piece of toast stuck in a toaster,
and I didn't know how to get it out, even though it was on, and it wouldn't pop up right, so I got a fork and I tried to take it out.
I lived, but my God, that was really close to death.
Earned a Darwin Award beneath the Top Gun roller coaster when a passenger's leg collided with his head at speeds of 50 miles per hour. Some person just clubbed him.
Oh my God, I don't know if there's enough time in the video, but is he gonna talk about dueling dragons? I think that was another ride where I can't remember if somebody got hit in the head or if it was somebody who, their phone fell out of their pocket and then their phone hit somebody and they got a concussion. I remember that, and that might have been the reason why you had to put your phone up when you go ride rides at Universal. Yeah, it was the phone. It was the phone.
With the leg, the unique design of the roller coaster leaves patrons with their legs dangling in the air, giving them more of a weightless, suspensory feeling. The dangling leg of Jessica Medina collided with Renato's head and simultaneously decapitated him and broke her leg in 2 places. Whoa! Her leg decapitated the guy? That bitch was drinking some milk.
Dude, and think about the person who decapitated him. Like, they have to live with that for the rest of their life, and it wasn't even their fault. Like, they were just riding the ride. Like, that shit sucks.
Sure, it broke her leg in 2 places, but to decapitate a man? Holy shit, that's awesome. While waiting for park security to clear the scene, Medina was not allowed to disembark the ride. With her obviously broken, dangling leg, she was forced to wait suspended for an additional 40 minutes before park personnel came to her aid. Holy, you know her leg had to look mangled too. Medina, as a result, lost her job, almost lost her leg due to infection and swelling, and now bears lifelong guilt, nightmares, and massive scars down her leg as a reminder every day. She is suing both the park and Renato's state. Renato's wife of of 2 months,
Yeah.
was suing the park, seeking over $1 million in damages as the signs were only in English and he may not have been able to read them. And
We can't read a picture with a man and a giant X through it. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know we can't read a picture.
in addition, she claimed the fence paneling was loose. If there's a giant roller coaster, maybe doggone it. I think that's a universal fucking language. I feel bad for Jessica. Jessica Medina, it's not your fault. But still, how would you not feel like it's like I took a person's life. I rode this ride and my leg was the result of this person's life. It could have been anybody else's leg, but it was hers. And now she fucking is mutilated for something that wasn't even her fault. That is absolutely. Next up, with the Ferris wheel at the Jambalaya Festival.
Oh no, dude, the last time I went to a festival in Louisiana, I left and what happened was 5 minutes later, somebody threw a gun over the fence and they shot everybody. I don't know why I have so many scary stories.
Louisiana. May 2023, riders at the Jambalaya Festival in Louisiana were left terrorized after the Ferris wheel halted. Jolted and metal creaking sounds broke the silence. These portable carnival rides that came through the area are under lax inspections, and the aging mechanism that controlled the tires that spun to control the turning of the wheel by park reports went flat, causing the wheel to spin freely. This was contradicted by patron footage as the entire structure had leaned and the ride was spinning very fast while operators desperately tried to pull people off the ride as they passed. That's not gonna work. Tried to pull people off as they passed. Hold on! Grab my hand! That's how they do it at the Jambalaya Festival. Now, goddamn it, I got jalapeno and andouille sausages on my night. Come on, grab my hand. Some patrons jumped off the ride in a panic, and a 2-year-old was almost flung from the ride as the structure skipped the rails. There were no safety fasteners and only a bar stopping people off the side. Anytime you see one of those like state fair redneck amusement park things.
Okay. What did he bleep in the middle there?
Also, I will never ride a ride at a state fair. I do not care. I do not trust them anywhere.
I never go on those. Those
No.
are a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you, these things are absolutely. Also, I remember one time I saw this carny at one of these things. I think he got arrested that night, but he was spitting at people when they went by. It was so fast that you couldn't tell it was him. But he was just sitting there eating sunflower seeds, and he was like hucking loogies at people and just
Were they ranch sunflower seeds? Those are my favorite.
laughing. I think I was like 9, and I was like, I don't think I want to come back here, Mom. Next up, we have the Ghost Train in Sydney, Australia. In 1979, the Ghost Train ride caught fire at the Luna Park, Sydney, killing 7 people. The park was unprepared when the train caught fire due to low staffing and inadequate firefighting equipment, and the fire completely destroyed the train. Originally, the fire was blamed on electrical faults, but arson was also claimed. Ooh.
Wasn't me. There have been many places that have caught on fire when I was there, including the Texas Renaissance Festival. Goodbye, France. But that was not me.
Someone thinks it was intentional, huh? Ironically, the train cars would enter through a door called Hell's Doorway at the start of the ride. That's unfortunate. Most of the time...
It's not funny.
It's not funny. Keep it together, everybody. That's not funny.
during the ride was spent in the dark. The ride also featured dancing skeletons, an ape monster...
Sorry, that skeleton scared me.
and a dragon's head. And the ride also featured a fake fireplace, which, according to witness, is where the actual fire took place. The irony of this ride is haunting. The fire broke out at 10:15 p.m. on the ride, and 35 people were on board. Staff raised the alarm and started to pull people from the ride, and the park's fire hose had a low water pressure and could only cover part of the ride as it sprayed, so it took an hour to get the fire under control. Originally, the staff thought everyone had escaped the fire, but the bodies of 7 people were soon found inside. The bodies revealed a man and his 2 children and 4 students from the Waverly College. That is horrible. The low water pressure thing is pretty insane. There must be like an immediate realization when you turn it on, you're just like, this is not what we had planned. The euthanasia coaster. The euthanasia coaster.
The euthanasia coaster?
Nah, this is the first coaster you make whenever you play Roller Coaster Tycoon. How many loops can I add?
Is a hypothetical roller coaster that is designed to kill you. Yes,
Oh.
you heard that right. A person made a roller coaster that was designed to be the funnest way to die. Which honestly, when he says it like that, you're like, that rules. Actually, that would be sweet. Would I rather
I'd
be
take that.
lethal injection? Hell no, dude. The ride plummets down a 1,640-foot near vertical drop before it enters in a series of loops that gets progressively tighter and tighter. The riders would sustain 10 G-forces for a full minute. Everybody looks like those pilots in those like training things where they're like, with their faces all sunken in. This would cause your blood rush.
this was a concept roller coaster that was for people with physical disabilities and it would be a fun way to go out. What about people like me who are VTubers? That's got to be some kind of disability. Can I ride?
To your arms and legs, which would starve your brain of oxygen. Shortly after falling unconscious, the brain would quickly follow into death. The designer of the ride, Juliano.
And this is where people start losing consciousness. Then maybe over here is where you start thinking about fun stuff. Right here, you probably want to go and play your favorite video game, and then here you explode. Why?
He's like doing it like so, whatchamacallit,
By the books. He looks very smart.
Urbanos stated the goal of the concept was to take lives with elegance and euphoria.
Yes.
Juliano Urbanos I feel like he is the only roller coaster designer to ever actually tell the truth of like, it's not necessarily about the fun, it's about putting people in a near-death experience, except he was just like, F the near-death, I want to kill you.
All the way.
You almost think he's like in an all-black suit and he's like,
That's kind of nice, though. I don't know. There's something about it that makes me smile. Like, it's definitely better than the chair.
Elegance and euphoria. Ride my ride.
what would he call the ride?
The death spiral.
Death Spiral works. There's that. I'm trying to think of something like in Kansas City, the big roller coaster is called the Mamba.
What about the scrambler?
Scrambler's good. I like the Scramble. The Tasman.
So sorry. I'm sorry. It's coming. It passed. I was gonna sneeze.
Tasmanian Devil. Because he spins? What about that, dude? Dude, that'd be some sick merch, too. Some of those.
Wait, is the Tasmanian Devil the one that goes? Can you rate that out of 10?
It's like 90s airbrush Tasmanian Devil things. And it's him, and it's like his eyes are all like, and there's like Tweety birds around his head. And last but not least is the human trebuchet in Middlemore Water Park, England. This water park had a trebuchet in the grass where customers could pay roughly $70 US to be launched into the air
Too much. I'm making this at home. No
and
shot.
land into a safety net. I'm going to go ahead and assume that that did not happen accurately. Riders soared through the air at 60 miles an hour and traveled a distance of 75 feet. The safety net they were supposed to land on was rather thin and also not very wide. It was about the size of a tennis court. That feels so small. For human
I mean, it could have been pickleball. That's a little smaller.
body to be flung that far. What's on the list, man? What the do I expect? That's not safe. Duh. Many onlookers noted how many riders barely made it onto the net in the last second. In 2000, a middle-aged woman named Stella Young landed in the net, bounced up, and fell through the netting and broke her pelvis. The ride continued on despite this, and 2 years later, a 19-year-old Oxford student, Dino Yankoff, missed
No comment.
Wait, wouldn't it be like Dino?
I think you just said the name wrong.
the net by a few inches and hit the edge. He broke his legs and his spine upon impact and died later in the hospital. The paramedic that attended to Yankoff said the damage done was quote-unquote horrific, and that Yankoff knew that his chances of survival were grim, yelling, "I am going to die!"
Okay. Right now, I'm gonna start
Workshopping by "I'm going to die," like, I guess, like, final exclamation, because it's gotta be cooler than that. I gotta think of something like, ah!
To Picard, the paramedic. That is horrible. You know, it kind of reminds me of a little bit is whenever that guy, the skiing accident, when he jumps on that ski and he hits his shins on the ski slope, which is like pretty much raw ice. And as he's sliding down, he's like,
No, put that on reels. Oh, hell no.
"My ankles are broken!
My ankles are broken!
And the guy's like, "He has broken ankles." And he's like, "I have broken ankles!" Ah!
Broken ankles!
He's coming, Cole! I bet it was not like that, but the guy actually died, so that's not funny. And we're not going to joke about that. The two men in charge of adjusting the weights for the release of each trebuchet pole were on trial for manslaughter, but are eventually cleared of the charges due to lack of evidence. How was that possible? They were there for the trebuchet,
Yeah.
and a man died. How? It's like, well, there's just not enough evidence, is there? I guess we're just gonna have to chalk this one up for weeks. That's fucking England, dude. That's what British people sound like. 50 people had to use the trebuchet that year, leading to Yankoff's death. The catapult was put out of use during the investigation and was not used again.
Okay.
Which also, I just want to say, that is the most British-sounding ride ever. A fucking trebuchet.
Yeah.
A literal medieval catapult, basically.
If it was more safe, I would kind of want to ride that. And it's $70. That's way too much. I guess I'm cheap, but that way too much.
I used to throw stones at big buildings with this thing, but instead, let's just do humans.
That's just humans. That concludes our video, and I just want to say this. If you're thinking about going into a fun amusement park this spring or summer,
Yes.
maybe think about the ride you're on. Look at the ride.
Always.
Look at the people standing in the ride. Do you want to be one of those people? Do you want to be one of these statistics?
Dude, the only thing I hate about standing in line at an amusement park is you always got two mother suckers in front of you French kissing. Just straight up tongue on tongue fight in action, grabbing each other's butts, all of it. Like, I hate that.
Because now after reading this, I swear to God, I'm like thinking about never going to amusement park again. Maybe Disney, where it's the Star Wars area.
He's so
Get
cute.
blue milk. I can get a lightsaber, or I can go to Universal Studios and get a Harry Potter
Harry
wand.
Potter on Wingardium Leviosa. I think that was good.
I will say too, don't spend your money on Universal Studios Hollywood. It sucks. I went to Mario Land in there, and that was ass. It always looks cool.
Too
but then
busy.
people like, I see people take social media pictures of it. It looks great. It's not good. It is not good at all. But at least you won't die there. At least we don't hope. What if Bowser came and
Oh, well, go tell Chibi Doggy. She gonna be hyped for that.
jumped on someone's head, or a little? What if Mario jumped on someone's head? Yeah, and just like shattered your spine. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. That was horrible.
Anytime I talk like Mario, it just feels racist.
I'm sorry. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it. If you're new here, please come by the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/BerryCrepe. I can touch them now.
Okay.
And use code Berry for 10% off your gamer subs order. It super helps me out. Oh my God, look, I'm vertical. Thank you so much. Horizontal. I don't know my shapes. I should shut up. Thank you. Have a good day, evening. Goodbye, YouTube.